What is up, hooligans? And happy freedom. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, where we try to make the news suck a little less. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you're over on Rumble, please hit that like button. More likes equals more hooligans. I'm going to read through a schedule really quick, and then we will be checking on all the chats. So let me know how you hooligans are doing today. Then, of course, we will be getting things started. We start off with a video titled RFK Jr. visits Texas after unvaccinated 8-year-old's measles death. I don't know, they're still hyping up the stupid measles shit, but either way, why not start with some fear-mongering? Then we got a video titled Texas investigating cereal giant Kellogg over food dye use, trying to crack down on our food being poisoned. It's good stuff. We need nationwide fake dye bans and stuff like that. Then we got a video titled No Longer Extinct Colossal Biosciences Dire Wolf Project. This is another abomination that was created in a science lab somewhere. We covered recently woolly mice, where they took woolly mammoth DNA and spliced it with mice. And this one, they're taking one kind of wolf and splicing it with another kind of wolf, and they're trying to bring back extinct species. Then we got a video titled It's Gonna Take Time. POTUS comment on seeing result from the tariffs. Let me see here. I think, yes. So this is from earlier today. President Trump met with Benjamin Netanyahu, or however you say his name. I was going to cover it, but then I got called away. I had something I had to do last minute. But either way, we got a short video from him taking questions. Then we got a video titled Fake News. White House tells Fox Business there is no plan to pause tariffs. Apparently, there was a news company that posted a banner that suggested that there was going to be like a 90-day pause or something on tariffs, causing this. It was manipulating the stock market. The White House called the news agency and informed them that that's fake news. They are not planning on any pauses for the tariffs. Then we got a video titled Cartels Targeting U.S. Firms in Mexico for Theft and Extortion. Then we got a video, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, get your hands off our Social Security. This is Elizabeth Warren lying to the normies and her constituents, making comments that Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, all these things, Social Security, it's all going to be taken away by President Trump and Elon Musk. We already know that's not true, but they're over here causing these lefties to get all active. Then we got a follow-up video titled Never Heard Anything Like It. Student visas revoked across 4 Massachusetts universities. Still cracking down on those pro-Hamas protesters. Then we got a follow-up video titled Judge Presses Trump Admin to Return Maryland Man Mistakenly Deported to El Salvador. That same controversial situation where this individual, some people claim to be a Maryland father of wrong identity, misidentifying this person as a MS-13 gang member, accidentally shipping him out to Supermax, but the White House says no, he is an MS-13 gang member and he's where he should be. Then before the last little bit of the news, it's titled Lefties Don't Even Know What They're Protesting. This is a video from over the weekend where they were out there for their hands-off protests, and the people who are out there, they don't even know what they're out there for. And to extend that, we have Lefties Losing It. It's titled Loony Lefty Complains About Her Bathroom Woes. Then we'll be getting into the fun stuff of the day. We'll be opening today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. Then, of course, we got 2 funny videos of the day. First one's titled Trump Getting Us Back on Track. And our official funny video of the day is titled Where Trump Lives Rent-Free. All of that's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat and see how you hooligans are doing today. What is up, everyone over on jeffmaclive.com? What's up, Russell? What's up, Jay Spray? What's up, Snooks? What's up, Guess MJ? What's up, Hair Juicer? And what's up, Josh1776? Happy freedom, you hooligans. Appreciate all of you guys being on the website. And what is up, everyone over on Rumble? Mike T, you were first today. I appreciate you basing in the chat, Mike T. What's up, Sage Pup? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Pumpkin? Appreciate you being here. What's up, Rappy? Happy freedom to you. Let me see. What's up, Ghostly? What's up, Mr. Satan? What's up, Kevin? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Tree Herder? Appreciate you being here. Russell, you're omnipresent. Appreciate you. What's up, Elisa? Guess you are also omnipresent. I think we got everybody. Hit that like button over on Rumble. See if you can get us on the front page. And what is up, everyone over on Kick? What's up, Meta? Happy freedom to you. And what is up, everyone over on Twitch? What's up, Tony Rich? What's up, Guess Who? Happy freedom. And what is up, everyone over on the CommieTube? Mr. Satan, you were first over here. What's up, Trill TV? What's up, Shanti? What's up, Toy Mafia? What's up, Lion's Heart? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Samson? Appreciate you being with us. What's up, Visions? What's up, Vinny C? Russell, you are truly omnipresent. Appreciate you. And what is up, everyone over on X? Let's see here. There we go. Lion's Heart, you're omnipresent. Tony Rich, you are omnipresent as well. Appreciate all of you guys being on X. Let's go ahead and get into things. Like I said, we'll be starting off with this first video. RFK Jr. visits Texas after unvaccinated 8-year-old measles death. Now, while we're watching this, I want you guys to keep in mind they're going to talk about an RFK Jr. Twitter post, and they show the text on the screen, but I want you to listen to what they're saying and read the text, and you'll realize they're adding words to this post. They are changing what RFK supposedly said on Twitter to fit the News Nation narrative. Now, before we get into this, of course, I want to remind you hooligans really quick, we have these Golden Age t-shirts. Now, this design was created by Alistair, and Alistair is a badass in just about everything he does. So I will be posting his links in all of the chats for you hooligans to have your opportunity to hire him for your creative needs, because if you think it, he can create it. Now, this design does come in shirts for men, shirts for women, tank tops for men, tank tops for women, pullover hoodies, zipper hoodies, coffee mugs, stickers, dog tags, and we even made cooking aprons out of this design. Today I got on the I'm an American and I do not comply t-shirt. We got lots of items and lots of designs over on the merch store. I'll be dropping all the links in the chats while we're watching this first video.
And this morning, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in Texas to kick off his Make America Healthy Again tour today to try to end chronic disease in this country. But the Texas stop was a last-second addition after an 8-year-old girl from Lubbock died from measles on Thursday, the second child and third person in total to die during this worsening outbreak. News Nation's Xavier Walton is live for us in Dallas. What is RFK saying today about the MMR vaccine?
Hey, Anna, good morning. Yeah, some of his strongest words yet when it comes to the MMR vaccine. But hey, speaking about that last-minute change-up with his Make America Healthy Again plan with that tour, he says it was a priority to come to Texas after hearing that tragic news with that 8-year-old girl. She, of course, now the second child and third individual to die during this measles outbreak, which is nationwide. Here's what RFK Jr. posted on social media. Here's what he posted on X, writing that he was in Texas Sunday to quietly console the families who have lost their children to this deadly disease and to be with the community in their moment of grief as they laid this child to rest. The health secretary also adding that he's here to support Texas health officials and to learn, how HHS agencies help get the measles outbreak under control. This outbreak in that state, Texas, one of 6 around the country that have been confirmed by the CDC. In Texas, the Lone Star State, they're pushing 500 cases. You see it here on the graphic. RFK Jr. says more than 600 nationwide, though the CDC says at least 567 cases of that outbreak are associated. That's more than double the amount of total confirmed cases of all of last year in the United States. Kennedy now facing, strong criticism because of his vaccine skepticism of the measles vaccine to date, writing the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. We talked about that a second ago. President Trump also weighing in on Sunday.
It's so far a fairly small number of people relative to what we're talking about. Something that people have known about for many, many years. I mean, measles has been, this is not something new. And we'll see what happens. But certainly, if it, progresses, we'll have to take action, very strong action.
Speaking of taking action, unfortunately, that warning came a little too late for the family, that 8-year-old who passed away. This was last Thursday. Now, Lubbock's University Medical Center revealing that she was not vaccinated against measles and had no other known health conditions. And Anna, we expect, RFK Jr. to take more questions on all of this coming week. Part of that Make America Healthy Again tour, he's going to be in Salt Lake City, Utah. Then he's going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, followed by New Mexico all this week, Anna.
Yeah, our hearts go out to that little girl's family, too. And Xavier, you mentioned there are 6 outbreaks across the country. How serious is this, and what's the message from doctors and health officials?
Well, serious enough for doctors and health officials to really sound the alarm. And the key thing here is really getting that MMR vaccine. And if you're vaccinated, you shouldn't be too concerned. However, it's still, Anna, you're a parent too. telling parents not to be worried when you hear some of these cases and these stories that we're talking about, especially when you hear about an 8-year-old girl, even though she was unvaccinated. Nonetheless, there's always going to be a level of concern when you're talking about that, Anna.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com.
Okay. So like I said, they spend a little bit of that video there misquoting RFK Jr., claiming that he's talking about the deadly disease. Now, it does not say that on his X post, like News Nation is claiming, which is kind of a defamation situation, really, because they're changing what he's saying while claiming that he said it, which is not true. The same thing is, we don't even know if this is an American. This could be a border crosser, because most Americans are vaccinated for measles. You got to get your kids all vaccinated for all kinds of stuff in order to go to school, unless you want to try and fight it, which is a pain in the ass. Some schools may not even let you attend school without getting your childhood vaccines and all of that stuff. And most of us are vaccinated for it. It's really not that big of a deal. And they want to keep pushing this shit because they want to call conservatives anti-vaxxers, because people don't want to take the COVID vaccine because you might kick the bucket from it. Or worse, you'll have to live with a bunch of diseases and problems that you didn't have prior to it. Nobody wants those problems, so people don't want to go get the experimental bullshit, especially if it doesn't, help you from COVID in any way. Why do that? So they want to label all conservatives as anti-vaxxers, which is not true. And they're trying to push it in that kind of tone, when in reality, this could be a border crosser, right? They bring in an 8-year-old dies, may not even died from measles, could have died from whatever, but had the measles, and now they're blaming it on the measles, big scary measles. Now, this really isn't a threat to most of us, and even if you get the measles, you got a pretty high chance of surviving it. So, again, fear-mongering, I'll let you guys know ahead of time, this is nothing to actually worry about. This is more or less what they're telling the normies. So when you go into Walmart and you see 65 people wearing 13 masks each, you'll know why. It's because of this shit right here. Next up, Texas investigating cereal giant Kellogg over food dye use. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this fear-mongering. Here, user, the outbreak is nationwide and there are 6 outbreaks. Is there 1 or 6? Fucking pick one. Yeah, here, user, they're just falling all over themselves trying to make this story work. What's up, guess some? I got both the measles and anti-flamboyant vax. Well, you're ready to go, guess some? 0, this story is complete BS and lies. She died with measles, not because of it. Yeah, most likely. Josh 1776, you already know the people infected are surrounded by border crossers or are border crossers themselves. Yeah, that's what I'm figuring too. Like I'm saying, most of us have been vaccinated for this since we were born. Since we were coming into 1 year old, this is a pretty routine vaccine for Americans to get. I don't know why they're trying to push it so hard. I'm waiting for the next big thing to come out for them to tell us to be afraid of. Ghostly, I can't read that out loud, but yeah, definitely keep your kids safe. What's up, Metal Mouth? Happy freedom to you. Kevin, that sounds like a deal. I've never heard of mug cake before, making cake in a coffee mug. Sounds interesting. What's up, Mary Todd? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Zeus Boot? Happy freedom to you. Guess who? The EU announced they will meet with the U.S. trade ambassador with a 0-for-0 rate. Yep. They said that, let's see, I can't remember if I got the video on the schedule, but I did watch a video while building the schedule saying that there's already 50 world leaders ready to meet with President Trump to negotiate tariffs. Now, of course, the lefty news is trying to, you know what? I got another propaganda video now that we're talking about it. Somebody had sent me a video with some propaganda on it, and that was the whole reason they sent it to me, was to talk about it. Let me see if I can find it really quick here. Let's see. I'm checking my phone really quick. Because since we're talking about tariffs, we might as well play another propaganda piece. Just get it all out of the way. Let me see. Hold on a second. All right, I think I found it. Just a moment.
coffee, vegetable.
Yep, it is this. Let's play this really quick.
Coffee,
Come on now, you goofy bullshit. Pause. There we go. Like I said, we're going to just throw this in there really quick. This is another propaganda piece. This is what they are telling the normies as far as tariffs and the economy and possible recession and all this other stuff. But listen to the language they're using while they're talking to the lefties. This is MSNBC, you know. So we're going to watch this really quick and we'll get back in the chat.
Coffee, vegetables, fruit, those will likely start rising in a matter of days. Those are perishable items, are harder to stockpile. And these new import fees are going to add up to what the Yale Budget Lab estimates is going to be about an extra $3,800 per household for the year. Now, the biggest price increases will come from foreign-made cars, but prices for all autos are expected to rise because American automakers rely on parts made in Canada and Mexico. So if you're in the market for a car, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford all offering employee pricing on the inventory they already have in-house. But, you know, these taxes are so disruptive, some companies are halting shipments. Jaguar's Land Rover and Nintendo's new Switch, they're pausing shipments and orders. We've got the 10% tariffs in effect over the weekend. These other big tariffs happen this week. So a lot of moving parts here.
Okay, so if you listen to the language they use, there's a lot of may, could, might there. This may happen, this could happen, this might happen, it's estimated to happen, it's probable that this could happen, but it's not actually happening. They're just spreading that fear. Be afraid of the measles, be afraid of tariffs, be afraid of yourself, put a mask on and don't look in the mirror. Stupid people tricking stupider people. Stupider is the word of the day. Anyways. Guess I'm had a Jag, less impressive. Never been in a Jaguar. What's up, Mac Daddy? Happy freedom to you. Josh 1776, did you see them lie about tariffs being lifted? Yeah. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, Josh 1776. Do the helicopter. No, we're not doing that right now. This ain't that kind of live. Zero, not to mention the tariffs they put on American goods. Yeah, and that's a conversation the lefties don't want to have. They don't want to have that at all. These other countries have been putting tariffs on us all the way around. And now President Trump wants to do reciprocal tariffs. You put tariffs on us, we're going to, an eye for an eye. And I believe in that. And now the lefties are all mad. And it's like, come on, man. What's up, Deep South Jody? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Cody? If I can get you already, happy freedom to you. Guess she has one weird eye. Her brown eye? Never mind. I wasn't watching close enough. What's up, Alex? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Ball? What's up, Magic Moon? What's up, Bo Did? What's up, Agent O? Happy freedom. What's up, Mike Ingalls? A whole bunch of people just walked in. What's up, Scott Voigt? Happy freedom. What's up, Julius? Happy freedom to you. Julius, they're having a shadow hearing just like the Sham J6 hearing now. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. What's up, Shauna Vision? Happy freedom to you. All right, hooligans, we'll get into this next video here. Like I said, Texas investigating cereal giant Kellogg over food dye use. Now, what I think is interesting, and I don't know if this is some slip, accidentally saying the quiet part out loud, but you always hear about things like ADHD and ADD and stuff like that, right? Attention deficit disorder, blah, blah, blah. You're born with it. You should treat it or else you'll have a hard life. That's what they try to sell you all the time. At least that's what they've been trying to sell me the entire time I've been alive. And when I was in school, most of my classmates were labeled with ADHD and they all thought they had problems. I believe it's a discipline problem and it's overdiagnosed. But in this video, they're going to talk about how these dyes are causing attention issues. I think eventually they're going to come out and admit that the shit in our food and the relationship we have with our devices and the internet cause ADHD. I really do, and I know that's going to piss people off, and I don't care. But I really think it's something that's being caused. I don't think it's something you're born with and a doctor discovers it one day. I don't think it's like that. I just don't. And they, like I said, in this video, they kind of lay down symptoms talking about it while they're bitching about food dye. So hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the commie tube, and let's get into this.
Is what you're pouring into your kids' cereal bowl as healthy as the box claims, or your bowl for that matter? Texas now investigating cereal giant Kellogg's for possibly violating the state's consumer protection laws, saying that many of the cereals it promotes as healthy may actually lead to obesity, cancer, attention difficulties, and other issues too. Mills is here with what we need to know. So Mills, this case is at the center of Trump's Make America Healthy Again agenda too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We saw a protest about this actually back in October. So Texas Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton, he's taking issue with Kellogg's labeling their products as healthy, despite some cereals like Apple Jacks and Frosted Flakes containing petroleum-based artificial food colorings. And Texas is just the latest state to call out Kellogg's when it comes to using artificial food dyes in their products. California banned Kellogg's Fruit Loops from schools over concerns about the artificial dyes. And the investigation alleges that Kellogg's broke the law, quote, after, quote, falsely claiming to remove artificial food dyes. It went on to state that some cereals have petroleum-based artificial food colorings, which Paxton claims are linked to hyperactivity, obesity, and autoimmune disease. What's more, Kellogg sells versions of these cereals without those unhealthy ingredients in Canada and across Europe. In 2015, Kellogg's reportedly announced that they were working to take artificial flavors and colors out of their cereals by 2018. Yet cereals like Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks still have Red 40, Yellow 5, Blue 1, and Yellow 6, all of which are produced from petroleum.
The state of Texas is asking, why did you promise your shareholders that you were going to take out the artificial colors and flavors? Because, of course, you knew that they're not safe. And then you reneged on that promise. And the CEO's last statement to his shareholders was, that's because our products are healthy. And that can't be the answer. It can't be that since 2015, we've learned that Red 40 is actually good for you. We know it's bad for you. That's why we're not selling it in products abroad.
And opinions are mixed on if artificial food dyes and additives are linked to health issues. Some advocacy groups think that they are, yet the FDA has deemed many safe. Kellogg's ingredients include food dyes. Those are approved and compliant with FDA regulations, and the National Confectioners Association claimed changing some regulations could actually make food more expensive. Anna?
And other foods have similar health claims too. It's not just cereals we're talking about, it's crackers, it's breads, it's all sorts of things. Mills, thank you so much for that report. We'll continue to stay with our nose to the ground on this one.
Thanks for watching it.
And I like how they bring that back at the end of the video there, because we covered, there was some other state, maybe it was Utah or something like that, banned food dyes in their food, and it was another News Nation video, and they spent the whole video talking about how your food's going to be more expensive now because it doesn't have fake crap in it. So you'll have to pay more because they didn't put all the poison in your food that they wanted to put in there. So it's your fault, and you're going to pay the cost for it. Thanks, News Nation. We really needed that. Next up, no longer extinct colossal biosciences dire wolf project. Now, like I mentioned earlier, a couple weeks ago, we covered these woolly mice. There was the same thing. They're trying to take woolly mammoth genes and they spliced them with mice, and they were successful. And now we got mice with afros, and they're cute little things, but they are abominations. They are not made by God. They were made by people in a lab. Now, this situation is a little less creative. They have what's called a dire wolf, which is something that's been extinct for a very long time. And they are splicing it with regular wolf genes in order to bring back this dire wolf. And apparently they got a couple of them. They're 6 or 7 months old. Again, it's an abomination because it was created in a lab. It wasn't created by God. It's something special, some mad science stuff coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about this food dye situation going on in Texas. Zero, anything healthy always costs more. Yeah. And it seems weird because they're putting all these additives in our food. A lot of it's cancer causing, and apparently it affects your attention too. Food doesn't naturally come with that, so they have to add it in. You would think that would cost more. So why is removing it going to make us have to pay a higher price? It just doesn't really make sense. Russell, I want a woolly mouse for my cat. They could be buds. Snooks, it's very wrong. Yeah. I don't understand. Like when I was younger, I remember them explaining the ecosystem to us, right? Like you hate spiders, but we need them because they eat flies and so on and so forth. And if you eliminate one creature, it could, cause a chain of events and all this stuff. Well, how come the opposite isn't true as well? If we bring back extinct animals that became extinct on their own deal, right? We didn't hunt them out of existence. They just didn't make it. They perished. Their genes died. And we bring that back. How's that going to affect the ecosystem? How come nobody's worried about that shit? It's kind of like the Green New Scam people who are always worried about climate change, but then they're flying private jets. They're not driving electric cars. They're not doing anything that they want all of us to do. They just want to cry about climate change and not pollution, right? Pollution is what hurts the planet. Climate change is an agenda by Democrats. But this is very, very much the same case, at least in my eyes. If we were to eliminate a species of animals, it would have a chain reaction. If we bring back an eliminated species of animal, you would think this would cause problems. But anyways. Josh 1776, it's called a gerbil. It's not exactly a gerbil. It's gerbil-ish. J Spray, I was thinking the same thing. I don't want to repeat it, but I was thinking that too. I was like, that's probably not the right phrase to put on TV. Russell, I drink food dye for fun. Out here pooping purple and stuff. That's what'll happen. Like if you go out drinking on St. Patrick's Day and you drink that green beer, you'd be pissing and shitting green for the next 2 days. That's how it goes. It's part of the fun and games. Russell, yeah, Spaceballs is awesome. I watched Spaceballs yesterday. I'll probably watch it again today because there's just so many like little zingers in that movie that it's hard to retain all of it. But it's pretty good. I think it's interesting that they took Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and kind of merged them into the same character on Spaceballs. May the Schwartz be with you and all of that. I think I'm going to watch it again today. It's pretty good. Thank you for sending it to me, Russell. Guess Frosted Flakes make you go liberal. Knew it. I knew it. Josh 1776, have you ever watched Airplane? Nope. I've never even heard of that. Russell, woolly mammoths are just hairy elephants. Bring them back. I mean, I don't know if they're just hairy elephants. I think they're bigger than regular elephants, but I'm not a gynecologist. I just play one on TV. What's up, Dutton? Happy freedom to you. Sage Pup, those new dire wolves are going to breed with the new woolly mice. Yeah, what do you think that's going to look like? Wolves walking around with afros. It'd be styling. Mike T, do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, that's the Democrat way. Metamouth. The Greta Thunberg, or however you say her name, was the poster child, we'll say it like that, for the whole green movement. Yeah. Now she's all dusty and kicked to the side. Every time we see her getting arrested, it looks completely staged. I don't think she gets any attention at this point. I could be wrong. I know Americans don't pay a lot of attention to her. It's Cody, we need a new scam ASAP. Yeah, they're working it up. Pumpkin, what makes the wolves dire? I don't know. I don't know where the term comes from. Metalmouth, that shit with the dire wolves screams Jurassic Park. Yes, and I actually have that wrote down as one of my notes. We're just moments away from Jurassic Park. What's up, High Plains Drifter? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Master Meatball? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Master Voltaire? Happy freedom to you. Master Voltaire experimenting for the future to bring back dead people. Yeah, didn't think about that. Who do you think they're going to bring back first? This might get interesting. How many people are going to type Hitler in the chat? That's what I keep wondering. Who do you think they'll bring back when they get cloning in the works here? You think Walt Disney? People say Walt Disney is cryogenically frozen in the castle in Florida. You know they're going to bring him back. What's up, Peter? Happy freedom to you. Peter, it comes from don't mess with those wolves or it will be dire results for you. That makes sense, Peter. What's up, Blonde Beard? Happy freedom to you. Blazing Saddles takes the cake. I think I got Blazing Saddles on the stack over here. It's on my list of movies to watch. What's up, Tactical? Happy freedom. What's up, Itchy, if I didn't get you already? What's up, DP? What's up, ACB? Happy freedom. What's up, Kamehameha? Appreciate you joining us. Shanti, I just found rat poison ingredients in Schwebel's bread. It's not good. I wouldn't buy it anymore if that's the case. That's what they say about Raymond's noodles. They say it's got like embalming ingredients in it. So if you eat enough Raymond's noodles, then you're kind of 1 foot in the grave. What's up, Roberto? Happy freedom. Alex King, are we living forever or dying early? I mean, depends how you're living your life, I suppose. Snooks, this is what a dire wolf looks like. Well, that's not what they look like in this video, but that's okay. What's up, Matt Rogers? Happy freedom to you. Styling. Couple of badasses. I like that picture. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing with us, Matt Rogers. All right, like I said, we're going to get into this next one. They're bringing species back from extinction. This is titled No Longer Extinct, Colossal Biosciences Dire Wolf Project. It's coming up next, but first I want to remind you hooligans really quick, if you would like to participate in Free Speech Saturday, make sure you post all of your memes over on Discord or on jeffmaclive.com. Just hop in the group chats on either platform. You'll see the tabs labeled memes. Drop what you got and we'll shout you out as we're making Saturdays more fun. Let's get this polled up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the next video we cover about this kind of topic is going to be Jurassic Park. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Commie Tube, and let's get into this. Just let me I got you, okay? I got you. Ha ha ha, I pranked you guys. I forgot to unmute it. Here we go.
The howl of a dire wolf hasn't been heard on planet Earth for more than 10,000 years. That's because the species is extinct, or was. Colossal Biosciences is a Dallas-based company that's using genetic engineering to de-extinct long-gone species. And this is the first time Colossal's dire wolf pups, who are now 6 months old, have been seen by the public. Hey Ben, it's Jeff Kluger from Time Magazine. A pleasure to meet you. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what the goal is for de-extincting and rewilding ultimately. Why are you doing this work?
It became abundantly clear that we need new tools and technologies for conservation. And so we thought this was a really cool way that we could create value, create impact, inspire people, and then also hopefully thoughtfully rewild some of these species, which apparently will also have ecological benefits to these different potential ecosystems.
To try and do that, Colossal needed to understand dire wolves at a genetic level. The company has documented the process from the beginning and shared this footage with Time for a cover story. So can you tell me a little bit about what went into engineering the dire wolf?
We extracted DNA from 2 fossils that we knew from previous work had some amount of preserved ancient DNA. One was a 13,000-year-old bone, and the other was a 72,000-year-old bone, an inner ear bone. We were able to generate 2 genomes, 2 dire wolf genome sequences from that, which we then compared to all the other wolves for which there's already been data generated. And when we do that, we want to figure out where it is that these two dire wolves are similar to each other, but different from the other wolves that are out there. And so we come up with this list of genes where they're distinct. Now, our goal in the Dire Wolf Project, just like with all de-extinction projects, is to re-engineer the core traits, the core characteristics that made these extinct species unique and able to fill whatever role that they filled in their ecosystems when they were still alive.
Using this knowledge, Colossal then made 20 modifications to 14 genes in the DNA of common gray wolf cells. These relatively few tweaks to the genetic code produce some big differences. The dire wolf's white coat, large size, characteristic vocalizations like that howling you heard at the beginning of the story, and more. That DNA was transferred to denucleated egg cells, meaning cells without their own genetic material, and then developed into embryos and were then implanted in the wombs of surrogate mothers, who were hound mixed dogs.
We didn't know how big these embryos would grow and wanted to make sure that the surrogate was healthy. So we picked large dogs.
Romulus and Remus, named after the Roman mythological twin brothers who were raised by a wolf, were born on October 1st, 2024. And in January, they were joined by a younger sister that the Colossal team named Khaleesi. Each wolf is on track to grow to as large as 6 feet long and 150 pounds. Colossal isn't planning to reintroduce them to the wild. Instead, the 3 dire wolves will live out their lives on a fenced 2,000-acre preserve. Colossal does not want to disclose this location in order to protect the animals.
I think these are the luckiest animals ever. They will live their entire life on this protected ecological reserve where they have all sorts of space and they have natural denning environment and they have an inclement weather hut that they can go and hide out in if they need to. They have 24-hour veterinary care.
Dire wolves aren't the only species on Colossal's de-extinction agenda.
An American company says it has genetically engineered mice so that they have developed some traits like mammoths.
A small but potentially important step in a quest to eventually bring back the prehistoric woolly mammoth.
They hope to de-extinct the woolly mammoth as early as 2028. The company is also hoping to bring back the dodo and the Tasmanian tiger. If some of this genetic tinkering feels familiar, it's because Hollywood has been here first. And spoiler alert, we all know that didn't end well. So naturally, bioethicists have some concerns.
When you're playing with nature, nature usually wins. Nature is much more complicated than the ability of our brains to understand it. Genes do many things. There may be a lot of unintended consequences. Let's say we alter a gene to make extra hair or to make it burn metabolism more, burn fat more. Those genes may do other things in ways that we just don't even understand. So we may create animals that have lots of medical problems. If we start tinkering with genes, we may create a super mouse, a super rat that kills all the other animals around.
But the team at Colossal says their mission to restore extinct species is also about stopping the disappearance of endangered ones today, as experts predict Earth will lose 30% of its genetic diversity by 2050. Colossal has used techniques learned from the Dire Wolf Project to clone 4 red wolves, a small but important step in fortifying that endangered species. The 4 new wolves could help inject fresh DNA into the red wolf gene pool, which currently suffers from a so-called genetic bottleneck, the result of too few individuals carrying too little genetic variety to keep the species healthy.
Yes, it would be really amazing to see a mammoth. It would be great for the habitats of Tasmania to have a keystone predator reintroduced into that ecosystem. But the tools that we're developing on the path to these species have immediate application to species that are not yet extinct, a future that is both biodiverse and filled with people, we should be giving ourselves the opportunity to see what our big brains can do to reverse some of the bad things that we've done to the world already.
There's a huge need to help prevent animals from becoming endangered and going extinct. We need to spend more money on conservation. Particularly now, there's a lot of threats that lands that we have as national parks and as preserves are going to be used for drilling oil, for instance. So there's a lot of habitats where species now live that are going to be under threat. So, and there's not enough money to help with conservation efforts.
All right. I think it's interesting how they pretty much just rub our face right in it. They're like, yeah, this sounds just like Jurassic Park, right? Yeah, the way you guys outline that you have some fenced off area that you plan on these abomination animals to live inside for their entire life, which I don't know how that's humane. I thought that was a bad thing, but okay. But what happens when they escape that facility? Because it's kind of inevitable. We hear about that all the damn time. Animals escaping science facilities or breaking out of their confined area to go explore the world. And then they're even talking about, well, what about super animals? You know, what if we make a super rat and it extincts all the rest of them? Okay, but it ain't stopping you guys from doing it. Like and they're doing it, and then they're telling us all the bad fallout that could happen from what they're currently doing. I don't know. It sounds like a bunch of people with God complexes. They want to play God. They're talking about how animals could become endangered or even extinct. And instead of preserving their habitat, no, let's just collect their genes. And then when we wipe them off the face of the planet, we'll just bring them back, some version of them that we create in a lab. I don't know. That doesn't sound good. Most things that we create turn into dog shit. That's why we're not God. God makes things perfect. So I don't know. I don't think that we have any business doing this. How much of the USAID money went into this kind of stupid shit? But either way, I don't really think that this is necessary. It's super gimmicky. And if they do bring back dinosaurs, it's going to be just like Jurassic Park. They're going to be charging people crazy money to come ride the dinosaur or come see the dinosaur in a cage. And I think this is where it's going. I don't think it's about preserving animals on the planet. I think it's commercialism. They just want to create no longer extinct species, so people will pay money to either own them or see them or ride them or God only knows. Maybe fashion, right? They'll bring back these animals and they'll use it to take their pelts and things like that to create clothing that you couldn't create prior to bringing them back from extinction. Again, this sounds like commercialism to me, but either way. Next up, it's going to take time. President Trump makes comments on seeing the results from the tariffs. This is from earlier today. President Trump was meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, and he was taking questions from the press for about 30 minutes or so. I intended on covering it live, but I had some things I had to do. Kind of came up last minute, but either way, that's what's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what your hooligans think about these dire wolves. Josh 1776, they want to make the land in Russia usable to mine it. Yeah, we'll see how all of that stuff goes. I don't know, the things they talk about in this video are something else. Zero, no, there is no need to prevent extinction. It's the cycle of nature. These educated people are stupid. Yeah. Well, like I said, I think it's just them trying to find a reason to justify what they're doing. I don't think they're really trying to preserve anything. Jay Spray, let's work on trying to bring back smart people first. Yeah. Can they resurrect common sense and accountability? Because we are desperately in need for it. Russell, I foresee brontosaurus rides in the future. How much do you think it would cost? How much would it cost to ride a brontosaurus for about 15 minutes? It'd probably be something crazy. Jay Spray, maybe Jurassic Park is real. I wouldn't put it past Hollywood to put it in our faces. Yeah. Well, especially when you realize how many movies and TV shows are created with the government helping in the production. It's like, that's how you know a lot of this is pre-programming, because the government is involved in movie and TV series creation. And so why would the government need to be there? That doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be entertainment, and everything you see on TV is supposed to be fake. So why is the government there? That doesn't make any sense. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the stuff we see on TV, if there's some true form of it somewhere in the background. Matt Rogers, some animals went extinct for reasons. Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying before we watched the video. It's, if it's bad to go out there and hunt an animal to the point of extinction because it can disrupt the food chain, like for, the circle of life and all of that, it can disrupt the ecosystem. Well, then bring in something back that died for one reason, it died out for whatever reason it died out. Bringing it back would also disrupt the circle of life and all of that. So I don't know. I really don't think it has anything to do. I think it's money. I think the end game is money. Josh 1776, revive the chocolate milk cow. Yeah. J Spray pedo hunter wolves would be cool though. Yeah, but if we had pedo hunter wolves, the government would ban them. They'd be hanging out on Capitol Hill all day. Kevin, I want a frickin' Stegosaurus. It probably eats a lot. Probably be expensive to feed the damn thing. What's up, Bill Clay? Happy freedom to you. Bill Clay, Jurassic Park and / World shows why you shouldn't bring back dinosaurs. Absolutely. Metal Mouth, oh, I got my taxes completed. I completed them on Saturday. I got to go pay whatever it is I owe on the 11th coming up. Is that this Friday? It is. On Friday, I got to go pay Uncle Sam. And that's it. But I'm through it. I survived it. Rappy, nope, not a good idea. Yeah, I don't think so either. Pumpkin, next, it'd be King Kong. Yeah, there's a lot of suggestions over on the website. I seen the T-Rex, the Megalodon, Dodo. What else is there? Lots of interesting suggestions, I will say that. Metal Mouth, those people need to rewatch Jurassic Park. Those movies show you what happened when you decide to play God. Yeah. There's tons of movies on it. I don't know why they would want to push it. Mike T, nobody wants to wait around for side effects, just profit. Yep. Meta, just because we can doesn't mean we should. Right. You are right. Guess who? Fine, let's bring in the Megalodons and use them against China. Maybe. We'll see how it works. They don't seem like they listen. They don't follow orders. What's up, Jay Muzu? Happy freedom to you. Tony Rich, T-Rex burgers. Man, how much do you think a T-Rex burger would cost? Kabuki, they will fail. Yeah. Can't play God. What's up, Corey Luca? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Skulls? Happy freedom to you. Corey Luca, bring back the Megalodon. I don't think I'll ever go in the ocean. Wait a minute. I'll ever go in the ocean, I'll be safe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't go in the ocean as it is, but if there was Megalodons, yeah, probably. Be one more reason why I wouldn't. What's up, Lenny? Happy freedom. If this is what they're divulging, what are they hiding? God only knows. What's up, Lil Ripper? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Jamie and Deborah? Happy freedom to you. Beowulf. I forgot about that movie. Tony Rich, alien DNA. Well, no. I don't know why they want to bring back. It's not just bringing back creatures, because that's the thing, is it's not just bringing creatures back from extinction, but those woolly mice, that's never been a thing before. They're doing gene splicing, which used to be kind of frowned upon, but now it's supposed to be exciting news, I guess. Oh, thank you, Mac Daddy. Yeah, I can't stand doing taxes. I am happy to be on the other side of it. Hopefully there's no issues. There shouldn't be. My tax guy is pretty thorough. I'll know on Friday. Let's go ahead and get into this next one. Like I said, this is from earlier today. It's titled, "It's Going to Take Time. President Trump Comments on Seeing Results from Tariffs." Now, most of us aren't worried about this, but the damn normies, they're out there screaming and crying because the Democrats keep telling them that we're all going to go into a recession, that this is going to be worse than the Great Depression and all kinds of other stuff. I don't know. But either way, just to rest your conscience, if you feeling this way, President Trump's pretty confident this is all going to work out in the end. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
I'll tell you what happens. We have now $7 trillion. Think of this, $7 trillion of commitments from companies wanting to go in, from Apple to many, many companies.
But that takes time.
Many from Taiwan. What?
It takes time to
Of course it takes. Well, are you asking me a question or are you telling me? Yeah, it takes time. You know, you got to build a thing called a factory. You have to build your energy. You have to do a lot of things. I'm giving them energy. You know, we're going to let them build their own power plants. They'll be their own. Essentially, they're going to be in charge of the power plant because our power is not reliable enough. You have a grid that's old and susceptible to a lot of things, including bombing and weather and a lot of other things. And we're going to give them record timing in terms of approvals of electric plants. Most of them want to build electric plants. We need massive amounts of electricity if we're going to compete with China and others. And interestingly, we're way ahead right now in the AI race with China. But the way we lose that race is if we can't give them electric. But we have more plants being built. We have everything. We're doing so great. And we want to keep it that way. And tariffs will be an important part of it. But one of the other things, Lee Zeldin's doing a fantastic job, head of environmental protection. And he's doing very rapid approvals for people to get, for big companies that are going to build a plant that's going to cost billions of dollars. And we're going to get them their approvals. They have to be environmentally perfect, everything good, but they're going to be in record time, a matter of months versus a matter of many, many years. Okay?
All right, like I said, that is President Trump from earlier today, speaking on the tariffs and all of that. Like I said, Blue Team is out there working hard to keep everyone afraid of these tariffs and making all kinds of wild claims. They're saying the stock market has crashed. They're saying that numbers are lower than they were in 2008. That is not true. That is not true. You can simply just look the shit up. Yeah, there is a drop in the market. We knew that was going to happen. He put the tariffs out. Things are going to get expensive. Eventually, other countries will get tired of paying for these tariffs. They're reciprocal tariffs, so these people are already taxing us. We're just now putting tax on them. We're putting these tariffs on them, and we're matching them. Well, as soon as they get tired of playing the game, they'll drop the tariffs against us. We'll drop the tariffs against them, and the market will increase. Well, if you actually go look at the damn market, while Blue Team is out there screaming to all the normies that the market's worse than it was in 2008, it's not true. Yeah, it is down, but it's down to about where it was last year. That's it. Nobody bitched about this shit last year. We did, but TV didn't bitch about it. But they are right now. But the claims they're making are false. That stuff is not true. I looked at the stock market today. I looked at it today because I wanted to know how are things actually working out, because there's news out there saying this is the worst it's been in 4 years. Then there's news out there saying it's the worst it's been in decades. Then there's news out there saying it's worse than it was in the 70s. And I was like, okay, well, that's a lot of fear-mongering, but none of it's consistent. Let's look it up. So I went and looked it up in my portfolio and all that stuff. It ain't that bad. It's about as bad as it was last year. Maybe it'll continue to drop. I don't know. But it has a long way to go before we're looking at 2008 economy. So don't listen to that bullshit. You can go look it up yourself. These people are lying to us, especially if it's Blue News, MSNBC, ABC, CNN, News Nation, those news stations are lying to us. They are creating fear. And again, they didn't do this when Biden was ruining the country. They just turned the other way, kept telling us that the economy was great when we knew it wasn't great. And so they're out there doing that fear mongering. Nothing new, really. Next up, fake news. White House tells Fox Business there is no plan to pause tariffs. Now, it's kind of self-explanatory, but there was a news company out there. I don't think it was Fox. They don't tell you who it was. I bet it was either News Nation or CNN, something like that. But they had a banner making claims that the tariffs were going to be paused for like 90 days. And because that was on the screen, people who invest went and bought a bunch of shares in the stock market because they felt this was an opportunity to take advantage of. So the stock market started going up. Well, the White House called in while that was happening and was like, no, that's fake. There is no pause on the tariffs. And then the stock market started dropping again. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about President. You know what? Let's just play this because it's all related to the damn tariffs anyway. So we're going to just play this and we'll hop in the chat because it's all this, same topic. Why not? Hit that like button and let's get into this.
Just look at that market. Now we're down 1,000 points. I've got to bring you up to speed on what's been going on literally in the last half hour. We were down 1,000 points on the Dow Industrials. Then another network ran an unconfirmed banner about a 90-day pause in the tariffs. That sent the markets sharply higher. But the White House was watching that performance and they called in and said, hey, that is fake news. We have confirmation from the White House that there is no plan to pause on tariffs. And now we're back down again off 900 points for the Dow, 270 on the NASDAQ. I don't remember seeing anything like this before, but you've got a 2,600 point swing for the Dow Industrials just in a couple of hours today.
Okay. So that's a pretty good example there of why the news shouldn't be allowed to lie to everybody and make up false claims. But it's also another example of why everything that happens at the White House should be put in front of the American people live, because everybody's starting to get used to seeing these pre-recorded videos from the White House and seeing clips from just random news or random clips being found on the internet, and it's hard to authenticate that stuff. What you can assume to be real is when you see President Trump talking to us live and telling us what's going on. Now, a lot of times with the executive orders, they put on a live, but in the corner it'll say previously recorded. And then any glitches in the live, you have to question, is it glitches just from technology, or is the video edited? And things like that. It loses its authenticity. That creates opportunities like this, where you might be just watching the news. This banner says there's going to be a 90-day pause in tariffs. You're like, I'm going to take advantage of that in the stock market and do some investing really quick. Oops, fake news. It wasn't real, and you fell for it because you're used to not getting live information from the White House because they think it's better to, one, play pre-recorded videos, and two, give all the media to influencers on X instead of just releasing it directly from the White House website or the White House channel on YouTube or on Rumble, stuff like that. And that's why I keep bitching about the media team over at the White House, because they are screwing us on this authenticity, and it creates situations like this. Now, even if the White House was 100% transparent with their media, which they could be, this just whoever's in charge of media is not doing a good job. But even if they were 100% perfect media coming out of the White House, this problem would still exist just because the news is complacent with lying to us. They're totally fine with it, and it's not so much as spinning the truth when you have blatant lies like this. Saying there's going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs is just completely untrue. You're not spinning anything that is completely fabricated. And the news, like real news, shouldn't be able to lie to us like that. It should be the difference between making content and actual press, right? You got the freedom of press. Well, if you're lying, then it's more like free speech. It's not really press, So it's not that it should be governed, but it should be, how serious do you take the information, right? You watch the Flintstones, you're not taking it very serious. It's entertainment. But you watch the news, you take it pretty serious because you assume this is accurate information when it's not. These people are lying to us. Next up, cartels targeting U.S. firms in Mexico for theft and extortion. So our follow-up on what's going on with the cartels, it's coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the tariffs and the fake news. Josh 1776, they should be held liable. They did it intentionally to steal money from their viewers. Same reason gold is down. They're doing anything they can to cover their positions. Some of these corporations will owe billions if stocks keep dropping. Yeah, and it is true. It is being manipulated. It's being manipulated by the news, and that's wrong. Matt Rogers, thank Obama. He made it legal for the media to lie. Yep. Yeah, and they need to do something about that. Guess the stock market's like the wife. It rarely goes down. You know, guess you're a wise man. Yes. He's like a hooligan Yoda. What do they call him on Spaceballs? Yogurt? They called him Yogurt. Spaceballs is something else. Josh 1776, surprised that Robinhood didn't freeze sales so they could make back some money. Yeah, and they do that every time the stock market gets a little wild. Robinhood freezes their whole trading system. Russell, those countries need us more than we need them. Yeah, and like I'd mentioned earlier, I came across a video that didn't have a lot of meat, had a lot of fat in it. And that's why I didn't make it on the schedule. I didn't want to listen to 7 minutes of bullshit. But there was a little piece in there where they were saying that there is more than 50 world leaders that are already trying to schedule with President Trump to negotiate tariffs, just like Benjamin Netanyahu did today. He showed up to talk about zero tariffs. President Trump wants to reciprocate that. 50 other world leaders want to get on the schedule in order to show up at the White House and talk the same talk. They want zero tariffs. So it seems like the tariffs are working, but, you know, Blue News will never admit to that. Jay Spray, I feel sorry for anyone losing right now, but let it crash. I want to be able to buy in at some point. Yeah, and that's the thing. It'll recover. You know, it's not like it's crashing and we don't know why it's crashing. We know why it's going down. It's because of the tariffs. And eventually it's going to go back up. So people worrying about the stock market and stuff, it's going to go back. And I can't give financial advice, but it's obvious for what we're, you know, staying up to date with every single day. So if you got any money to invest, right now it'd probably be a good time. Probably, because I can't give financial advice. But if you are losing in the stock market, you'd probably be fine to hold on to it because eventually it's going to go back up. So it's really nothing to worry about, and that's what makes it even funnier that lefties are crying about it, because lefties don't even have any money to invest. They're living in mom's basements. You know, like Tim Burchett said, you trust your mom to heat up your Hot Pocket and charge your Game Boy. And like that's why it doesn't make sense when the lefties get all pissed about the stock market. They ain't got any skin in the game. So it'll work itself out. Here, Juicer, fuck Robinhood. They fucked me out of $300K. Yeah, because they freeze that damn market and it screws everyone over. Kevin, do you think I could pimp Pepper out? There's got to be someone who will pay to cuddle with Pepper. You got to sell those cat feet pics on the internet. I've been thinking about doing that with Klaus Daniels for years now. And he finally could pay some rent. You know, I'm just saying. What's up, Too Old to Care? Happy freedom to you. Bill Clay, I take the Flintstones seriously. My bad. I didn't mean to misspeak like that. Ghostly, I'm broke. I don't care about the stock market. Is rent going to go down if everyone's broke? No. I don't even know how they're going to fix the whole housing situation. It is impossible to find a place to live or afford a place to live. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to have to do something, because eventually everyone's going to be homeless and we'll have a bunch of empty houses with nobody living in them because nobody can afford to live in them. What's up, Let's Go Brandon? Happy freedom to you. Metal Mouth, charge $5 to cuddle. Yep, that's all it takes. What's up, Cricket Kiss? Happy freedom to you. It is so windy outside. Sounds like it's gonna blow this slider open. What's up, Carl? Happy freedom. What's up, Lisa? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Tim Mack? The illegals is what messed up the housing market. Well, I think there was a lot of factors, but the thing is I just don't know how they're going to fix it. You know, the government doesn't have the authority to tell people what to charge for rent on their own property. They also don't have the authority to tell somebody what they're allowed to sell their house for. So if they want to take a single bedroom, 1-story house in the middle of fucking nowhere and charge $500,000 for it, there's no one to stop them from doing that. And so, I mean, it'll come to a point where either they'll have a bunch of empty rentals or empty properties that they want people to be in, but no one's willing to pay the price. They'll either have to come down in the price or just watch their property become dilapidated because, you know, houses need people to live in them. Otherwise, they just get run down. So something's got to give. What's up, Gen X? Happy freedom to you. Magic Moon, my little old beat-up home is paid for. Yeah, me and WMM were at the store the other day, and we ran into somebody we used to work with, and his house is all paid off, and he wants to move because his kids are grown, and so he doesn't really want to stay where he's staying anymore, but he's scared to leave the house, like to sell off the house, because he might end up in a situation where he gets a worse house for this extravagant price, and so he's kind of stuck where he is because he's too worried that he won't get his money's worth out of this house that he spent years paying off. And so it's a real weird situation right now when it comes to housing. Corey Luca, not one place has mentioned this. The Dow hits 1200 negative, it shuts down, did it twice during the croc. Third time it happens, it stays shut down. No one remembered that. Now, I don't know anything about that, Corey Luca. I just know that the Blue News is out there lying about all this stuff, trying to say that we're all the way back in 2008, that's how bad the economy is, and it's just simply not true. What's up, Mercedes? Happy freedom. Oh, I see what you're saying, Corey Luca. Yeah, talking about, yeah. I thought so. I didn't want to change what you were saying, though. Thank you for letting me know, Snooks. Oh, they're children. I can tell by their language. Using TikTok talk. Brain rot. Brain rot entered the chat. That's all right. Thank you so much, Patriot Dad, for that $5 donation. Really appreciate you, Patriot Dad. Thank you so much. It says, happy freedom, hooligans. Happy freedom to you, Patriot Dad. Thank you, Snooks. I appreciate the compliment. Hair Juicer, did you watch the AI Redneck Trump music video? No. How was I supposed to? Did you send it to me? I'll look it up after the live. All right, hooligans, we'll get into this next one. Like I said, cartels targeting U.S. firms in Mexico for theft and extortion. Now, they declared the cartels as terrorists. When are they going to start dealing with them like terrorists? I'm just going to let them do this stuff? Like, come on, man. Hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
South of the U.S.-Mexico border, Mexican cartels now targeting American companies doing business in Mexico. We are hearing reports of trucks being hijacked, threats of extortion, and employees being forced to look the other way as the cartels are using their companies to move their drugs. News Nation border correspondent Jorge Ventura joining us live from San Antonio on this. Jorge, what types of workers are being targeted by the cartels?
Well, Natasha, we are learning now that Mexican cartels targeting American companies in Mexico, anywhere from extortion to hijacking, even forcing employees to run drugs for those criminal groups. Now, according to the American Chamber of Commerce in Mexico, 1 in 8 businesses have reported organized criminal organizations taking at least partial control of their operations, whether it's sales, distribution, or pricing. While truck drivers are the most commonly targeted, there has been an uptick in the targeting of executives as well. Using threats of violence, cartels have also embedded themselves in the distribution networks of these companies, and many of their shipments are actually cleared by U.S. Customs, allowing for cartels to slip drugs into these shipments undetected. Now, additional complicating factor in this story is that the Trump administration has recently labeled these Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, which means that anyone who aids them or runs the risk of prosecution themselves, including the death penalty. Also, what's a huge issue the Congress is reporting is because the cartels do retaliate against those that do report them to law enforcement, they say this is also playing a major factor of Americans not reporting them to Mexican law enforcement. That's a huge deterrent as well, Natasha.
Yeah, Jorge, we appreciate it. I know you've also been tracking this case. The Trump administration, of course, making all these efforts to deport suspected gang members. It appears a Maryland man may have been deported by accident. What can you tell us? What is the latest there?
So right now, the White House is facing a Monday night deadline to return Salvadoran national Kimara Bergo Garcia back to the United States. He's right now being detained at the CWH maximum prison in El Salvador. Now, a U.S. district judge did rule on Friday, calling that an illegal act and demanding that the administration returns Alberto Garcia back to the United States. The judge in this case is doubling down in response to the government's appeal today, denying that appeal and calling Alberto Garcia's deportation to the maximum security prison, quote, wholly lawlessness. Now, the White House has admitted that Alberto Garcia was deported by mistake, citing an administration.
Sorry, I got sidetracked there. We're going to cover that information later on. We have a better video talking about that than goofy-ass News Nation. But either way, the cartel is targeting commercial trucks coming in and out of Mexico and trying to get drivers and companies to comply with drug trafficking and stuff like that. I thought we were going to do something about the cartel. Last we heard about the cartel, they were using weaponized drones to attack other cartels and to also attack border agents. Nothing happened with that. They just continue to do it, I guess, and we're not going to do shit about it. We did deploy military vehicles to the border and even a warship, I guess, for intimidation. They said that the military vehicles were being sent to the border just for surveillance reasons, and I'm sure to intimidate those on the other side. But now they're trying to get all creative here and interfere with commercial back and forth, which is really interesting because we got the tariffs going on, so there's probably less commercial travel happening right now because people are trying to figure out what to do about these tariffs, try to figure out how they're going to make it around paying this extra money. But like, when are they going to do something with the cartels? If they're declared terrorists, it's like ISIS doing this to us, and we're just like, oh yeah, this is kind of a problem we have. No, let's solve the problem here. It also sounds like these drivers are easily victimized, right? You're traveling internationally. You're probably alone. You're driving a truck just trying to do your job. Cartel shows up looking like dirty military men, and they're just forcing you to comply. What are you going to do? You're going to fight 3 Toyotas worth of terrorists, or are you going to just go, okay, just don't smoke me, and you comply because you don't want to die. And then if you get caught, you could be facing the death penalty anyways because you'll be looked at as aiding terrorists. Well, how does the guy driving the truck stay alive without complying? It's a shitty situation. I think they should do something to the cartels to make it so we don't have to worry about this. Maybe eliminate them. Maybe fight back. Maybe fucking something. Do something. Don't just let them attack commercial businesses and shit. I don't know. They need to do something about this situation. Next up, President Trump and Elon Musk, get your hands off our Social Security. This is Elizabeth Warren lying to normies and her constituents. She's also contributing to these stupid hands-off protests by making up stories, making claims that President Trump and Elon are going to take away everyone's Social Security and Medicaid and all this. And it's not true. It's just not true. The Democrat leaders are just lying to everybody, saying things that no Republican, nobody on Trump's team has even mentioned this kind of stuff. but the blue team needs something to cry about. And in this case, they're completely fabricating these stories. And like we've covered before, there's not only the hands-off protest, but before we covered that, there was a protest where they were bringing special needs individuals into the protest and telling them that Trump is going to take away their benefits, their Medicaid, and all that kind of stuff. And that is not true. That is not true. So the lefties are even taking advantage of special needs individuals, which is wrong. Lefties have no shame. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the cartels over here attacking commercial transport and stuff like that to try and get their drugs through. J Spray, keep effing around and Texas is about to get bigger. Yep. Hair Juicer, I'll check it out after the live. I saw you sent me a message. I just didn't have a chance to check my X messages. Metal Mouth, Elizabeth Warren wouldn't know about truth if it bit her in the ass. You're not wrong. Happy Freedom Original J-Dog. Liz Warren is always lying. Yeah, she can't help herself. Subsupia, Happy Freedom. The Supreme Court put a halt on the Monday deadline. He wasn't deported by mistake. It's a fucking lie. Yeah, we got another story on that. Or we got a better version of that story coming up in a little bit. Tool to care, she's a carpenter's dream. Flat as a board and easy to nail. Holy. I have never heard that before. That is hilarious. Guess 1,244 innocent J6ers locked up for years. One criminal gets deported and Dems freak out. Yeah, that's how they are. Ghostly, it's like being in the Middle East and being shocked when ISIS shows up. Yeah. We know the cartel's right on the other side of that fence, and we're just watching them attack us, our businesses, our border patrol, and it just doesn't seem like we're doing anything about it. I don't know. I think we have a interesting perception because the only time we see ISIS or Al-Qaeda or any of the other terrorist organizations we always hear about over in the Middle East, it's always us annihilating them, right? Anytime you see a video or you hear President Trump talk about it or any of that stuff, there's a bunch of guys kind of standing somewhere and then there's a big explosion and then they don't exist anymore. And we're like, yeah, we used to have these problems, but we don't now. And so we kind of have this perception that we just exterminate extremism and terrorism. And then we got the cartel on the outside of the wall and they're consistently fucking with us. And we're like, do the thing. What do you mean? Do the thing. You know, big explosion. They don't exist anymore. Do the thing. And they're not doing it. And we're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is this? We've been watching videos from Afghanistan and Iraq for the last 20 years. It didn't look like this. Like, what's going on here? So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird to see these ongoing problems, knowing that they're killing Americans and things like that, and then it just doesn't seem like anybody's doing anything about it. Guess who Doge just won in the Fourth Circuit of Appeals 3-0? That the district court does not have the power to block access to data of Social Security, Department of Education, Office of Budget and Management. It's badass. Guess who? Thank you for letting me know. What's up, real life? Happy freedom to you. Mercedes to the Dems, hands off our tax money, stop stealing. Yeah. Yep, they want to act like they're innocent in all of this. Real life, so basically nothing has changed. It's the same system in Mexico. That's what it looks like. It's rough stuff, guess some. That's pretty much how it is, though. What's up, Roy? Happy freedom to you. Ghostly, they want it to happen. I mean, it seems that way. Otherwise, they would stop it from happening. Thank you for being here, Zero. I'm sorry you're having technical problems. Alright, hooligans, we're going to move on to this next one. Like I said, it's Elizabeth Warren lying her face off to anybody who'll listen to her. She's also contributing to these hands-off protests by making up problems that don't actually exist. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick. If you'd like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. So you got to go to the rumble.com website, come to the chat, and like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We got chapstick emojis, screaming goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's pull up this Elizabeth Warren video here. She's lying her face off. Got protests over the weekends, people saying hands off this, that, and the other. They don't even know what they're talking about. And it's because of blue leaders like this. We'll go ahead and play it in full screen so you can see this ugly person yapping. Either way, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
So let's just back up a little and remind everyone, Social Security is not charity. It's something that people worked hard for all of their lives. Paycheck after paycheck after paycheck for years and years and years and years, people paid into the Social Security system on the understanding that when the time came for them to retire, they were going to have a regular check that they could count on. That was the promise. That was the deal. People earned that. And now Donald Trump and Elon Musk want to take that away because they want to do tax cuts for billionaires. Now, they know that they can't actually go in and just cut Social Security benefits. Congress passed that law, and only Congress can officially change it. But Elon Musk and Donald Trump have figured out they can do a backdoor kind of cut. So basically, they want to fire half the people at the Social Security Administration so that it gets a whole lot harder to be able to start your benefits, a whole lot harder to be able to correct a mistake, just a whole lot harder even to get your monthly check. Because to the extent all of that can be put off, all of that can be disrupted, that is the equivalent of a cut in Social Security benefits. So today, Democrats announced that we are establishing a war room. And the war room is going to be there to do investigations. We're going to be there to do the oversight we need. We're going to be holding hearings. We're going to be out at Social Security offices. And we're going to provide a place for people to organize, for people to come together and to tell their stories. Because ultimately, power is with the people. Enough people tell their stories about the importance of Social Security. We push back on Donald Trump, we push back on Elon Musk, and we push back on the spineless Republicans in Congress who are just going along with these Social Security cuts.
Okay. Elizabeth Warren, they're lying her face off, trying to connect things that don't connect. Oh, Social Security people are being laid off. That means that you're going to lose your Social Security. It's all Trump's fault. Trump and Elon, they got together. They decided you don't get to have your Social Security anymore. Oh, okay. Well, they didn't seem too pissed off that there's millions of people over the age of 150 years old supposedly collecting Social Security. They didn't care about that. Oh, no, they weren't worried about that at all. Same thing as if we cut those accounts off, right? We stop the Social Security numbers of individuals above 150 years old, which there's none of us alive at that age. It would actually prolong Social Security. So people in my age group might actually be able to collect Social Security one day. I'm going to pay into it my whole damn life and may not even be able to collect a check from it. Well, we cut these millions of frauds off. That's more money for the rest of us to collect after, we pay in for years and years. No, they don't want to talk about that. They want to say how fired employees, when we're overstaffed in the federal government, it's very obvious at this point, cutting the excess staff is somehow going to take away your Social Security benefits. That shit doesn't make any kind of sense, but, leave it to Elizabeth Warren to tell everybody what's what. Next up, we got a follow-up video titled, Never Heard Anything Like It. Student visas revoked across 4 Massachusetts universities. This is more of the federal government cracking down on these pro-Hamas protesters. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat. See what you hooligans think about Elizabeth Warren lying her face off. Jay Spray, they don't like Trump and Elon playing just the tip. Can't figure out where it's coming from. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that they come out of the gate closing down USAID, saying it's full of fraud and it's a bunch of money laundering going on by the Democrats. The Democrats come out and cry about it, and everybody who hears this shit only seems to hear what the Democrats are saying. They miss the whole part about where Democrats have been laundering millions of dollars, probably billions of dollars, from us for years. And for some reason, the normies don't care about that. They just care about Maxine Waters being locked outside of the Department of Education and goofy little scenes like that. I don't know. People are so soft and stupid. It's hurting us as a country. Guess Social Security Department will intentionally make it harder just to prove a point? Yeah, I bet so. Russell, so they're trying to save Social Security. Politicians have been stealing money from Social Security for years. Yeah. And instead of people acknowledging that, we got hands-off protests. And we got a couple videos coming up where it's going to show that these people at these hands-off protests, they don't even know why they're there. Like, they have no idea. They're just there because there's something to do on a Saturday. What's up, Elder Zoomer? Happy Freedom. What's up, Justin Sane? Happy Freedom to you. Metal Mouth, I don't like or trust Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, I feel the same way. Cody, man, I try to put myself in those Dem shoes, but I don't wear pumps, and they're full of it. Yeah. I don't know. I try to be open-minded and see stuff from other people's perspectives because everyone's living their own life, and you never know what somebody's going through. I can never get a hold of what these Democrats think, though. They're just so full of hate that no matter how much you try to see from their point of view, it never, ever, ever makes sense. It just never makes sense. There's always a better way to do something than what Democrats are doing. I think that's why they took away the tard word. They said we can't say tard anymore because we're already saying Democrat and it means the same thing, so we don't need 2 words for it. I guess. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Told to care she's trying to scare the old people? Yeah. Yep. Well, hopefully, because a lot of old people are hanging out watching the news all day, hopefully they've seen enough of what Trump is saying to not believe what Elizabeth Warren is out there spewing. Pumpkin, she needs to retire very soon. She does nothing but lie. Yeah, a lot of people on Capitol Hill, they need to just go ahead and retire. They are not helping the country in any way. What's up, Stoner? Happy Freedom to you. Guess Trump going after the cartels is making crack prices go up, which is hurting the users. Dems mentality. Absolutely. That's like we covered a few months ago. California, they had a new facility for alcoholics to go to where they could have a place to sleep for the night. Not only that, the government's paying for them to take a shot of vodka for every person that comes in, just to make sure they're not having withdrawals and stuff like that. Like, Dems are so stupid. Like, they're so stupid. The Dem leaders are evil and manipulative, and they're liars. Dem voters are just idiots for the Dem leaders to prey upon. And then normies just kind of get caught in the crossfire. But, that's the way it goes. We cover this shit every day, and it's the way it goes. Yeah, Stoner. I can't say it out loud because we got the soft-ass platforms that can hear my voice. But, yeah, you guys can all say the tard word over in the chat. Over on Rumble. Yeah, Metal Mouth. Well, Twitch and YouTube. They're not going to let me say it. Twitch came after me for something stupid. Something real stupid. It was a couple months ago. Said I was targeting another creator. I literally don't even know of another person that goes live on Twitch. So it's like, yeah, they're soft over there. The platform is soft. What's up, Murdercom? Happy Freedom. What's up, Cam? Happy Freedom. What's up, Duck and Felonies? Cam, took me 10 plus minutes to find you today. No suggestion, not easy to find, but alas, here I am. We must be getting shadow banned, Cam. I must have said something they didn't like, and so they hid me under the radar. Appreciate you being here, Cam. What's up, Jim? Happy Freedom to you. What's up, Salty Ginger? Happy Freedom to you. It's crazy that they keep fear-mongering and making people more and more radical every day. Yeah. Well, and there's no accountability. That's the thing. If every time somebody stepped out of line, accountability showed up to correct that behavior, less and less people would fall for it, right? Like if these radical lefties went out there, became pro-Hamas like they are, they go out there and scream death to America and shit. If they went to jail and they were being held as terrorist sympathizers, less people would go out there and sympathize with terrorists. And it's like that all the way around. And it should be that way. But they've changed the definition of peaceful protesting to where you blow a couple Teslers up, you're still okay. You're fine to go. You want to hold an encampment in the front yard of Harvard University, you're fine. And because of that and changing the definition of peaceful protest, they're able to go out there and act like radicals. Their buddy sees it and they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Well, after a week of them doing it without consequence, their buddy's like, well, let me give it a try. And that's the whole problem with this. We got Elizabeth Warren and her compadres, her comrades out here telling people to get active, telling people lies, giving them false reasons to be angry. Then the college students are out here in the streets burning shit down, no accountability for that. And then we all just got to deal with it. We just got to deal with it because there's no accountability anywhere. What's up, Vinyl? Happy Freedom. Thank you for being here with us, Vinyl. What's up, Wayward? Happy Freedom to you. Thank you for joining us. Hair Juicer, I just read that Maine might legalize Viking funerals. What is a Viking funeral? I have an idea of what I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. Thank you so much, Patriot Dad, for that $1 donation. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Patriot Dad. It says bacon wrapped Santa Fe chicken filet and bacon wrapped steak kebabs on the grill. Got my bacon for today. That's badass. That sounds fantastic. Metal Mouth fear sells, apparently. Yeah, I guess. Sex does too, but I'm all out of that. Anyways, let's go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, we got a follow-up video. It's titled, Never Heard Anything Like It. Student visas being revoked across 4 Massachusetts universities. Again, this has to do with cracking down on the pro-Hamas students. What the fuck is going on here? GoofTube? All right, there we go. All right, hooligans, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
Breaking news, more student visas revoked. In the last hour, Boston 25 News has learned that 4 local universities are reporting students with suddenly revoked visas. Boston 25 News reporter Daniel Coates live in Harvard Square. Daniel, Harvard University says 3 current students and 2 recent grads lost their visas.
That's exactly right, Carrie, and we're learning that it doesn't stop here in Cambridge. Northeastern University and UMass Boston just in the last couple of hours confirming that they have students whose visas were recently revoked as well. Now here at Harvard, obviously some big news for the international community to grapple with. They had a wide array of emotions tonight when we spoke with them.
I've never heard of anything like it.
International students at Harvard were uneasy Sunday night, hours after learning 3 undergrads and 2 grad students had their visas revoked.
It's a really concerning thing that like this kind of sentiment is kind of,
spreads across the country.
While conducting a routine records review, the university became aware of the situation and told those students, referring them to legal assistance. The school said they weren't given any details about why it was done to those 5.
It's high uncertainty.
One international student, a senior from East Africa, asked not to be on camera.
I wouldn't say dangerous, but it's risky to speak up, write op-eds. I mean, the person at Tufts was taken for writing an op-ed.
Rumeysa Öztürk, a Tufts grad student and Turkish national, was detained by ICE more than a week ago. Days after, we learned 5 international students at UMass Amherst also had their visas suddenly revoked.
I would be shocked, and I would be really disappointed.
Harvard said in a statement, the talent they bring to campus each day increases our ability to advance world-class discovery in fields that have meaningful impact on people's lives, while creating positive relationships and discourse that expand the horizons of people across our community. We are committed to continuing to support them.
Everybody here, particularly for international students, can study in peace without worrying.
And again, Kerry, it's unclear why those students' visas were revoked. Harvard University says they will not be identifying those students at this time, citing their safety. On scene at Harvard Square, I'm Daniel Coates for your local station, Boston 25 News.
And now the question remains, Daniel, what's next for those students? Thank you very much.
Okay, so they're trying to downplay the situation. They don't want to reveal whose visas have been revoked. Therefore, it just sounds like the federal government hates foreigners. That's what it sounds like, right? That's the story that they're pushing right here. You come here on a visa, we're going to revoke it for no reason, and you're going to lose all your opportunities and all your money you spent to come here in the first place. Now, obviously, we know that's not the case. We watch Elon and President Trump and a couple other people get into it over visas right after Inauguration Day. Remember, they were saying there was infighting because they were talking about the 1A visas or whatever they are. So obviously, they're not against foreigners coming to America legally, but that's what they got to, they got to spin it because they claim the whole mass deportation is just because Trump's a racist. So now these visas being revoked and college students having their visas revoked, they can't go to college anymore. Oh, that's just us taking their opportunities away. I'm sure this is based around the pro-Hamas protesters, just like all the other visas. And even if they're not, this is part of why the schools allowing those pro-Hamas protesters to do what they do is bad. Not just because they're a nuisance and they're sympathizing with terrorists, but there is a potential of some wrongful identity stuff going on where individuals may be having their visas revoked just because they're considered a part of that group of individuals, like Mahmoud Khalil, right, an activist, being pro-Hamas, being pro-terrorist and stuff like that. There could be individuals accidentally getting hit in the crossfire of all of this, getting their visas revoked when they shouldn't be. But that's why you can't let stuff like this get out of hand. Somebody fucks up, you need to correct that behavior. Otherwise, you're going to have fallout. And that's what we're experiencing right now. So either these individuals who lost their visas, and I believe they're most likely pro-Hamas protesters, but if they're not, this is still because of the pro-Hamas protesters. Because everybody wants to get all active and scream death to America until your visa gets pulled, so the news can spin it how they want to, but we stay up to date too much to believe their nonsense. Next up, judge presses Trump administration to return to the Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Now, they keep writing these titles like this, but the White House is pretty confident that the individual has been deported is actually an MS-13 member. The guy who's in Supermax doesn't seem to behave like somebody who doesn't deserve to be there, right? Somebody who's not a criminal does not do well in jail, let alone Supermax. So I believe this guy's probably MS-13. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding this, and that's why we got this follow-up video coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about these individuals having their visas revoked in 4 Massachusetts universities. Russell, I don't want to be cremated when I die. I want a monument, and I want to be cloned. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to go, but when I go, I imagine I'll be cremated. We'll see how it goes. J Spray, there also could be a mole trying to make the administration look bad on deportations. Could be. Definitely could be. Russell, well, if you hate America, visas will be revoked. I mean, it's that simple. Snooks, I'm on the fence about those deportations. Why? Hair Juicer, they push you out to sea on a burning boat. Yeah, that's what I thought a Viking funeral was. Met them out. They brought it on themselves. Yeah, they did. Stoner, if they don't like it, they could buy a $5 million Trump visa. Yeah. Tree herder, love it or leave it. That's right. I missed it. Everyone's like, she's got big titties. I missed the big titties. I don't know how I missed it. Kevin, the birthday cake, mug cake stuff is better than the double chocolate. Well, thank you for the analysis there. I want to see if I can find that stuff somewhere around me. What's up, Sherry? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Southern Eagleman? Happy freedom to you. Sherry, you can't come into our country and cause chaos. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty simple. Guess who Harvard let in the terrorists? Yeah. Well, it's not just them. It's Columbia University. I mean, there's so many schools that allow these individuals to behave the way they do. It'd be different if they were protesting, but they're not protesting. They're sympathizing with terrorists, and they're trying to create autonomous zones and stuff like that. And it's a liability. And so I don't know why the school wants to take on that liability. It just doesn't make sense. Scott, he's not a legal resident. Yeah. Cam, what other country can they go and protest against while being a guest in that country? Exactly. What's up, Corn Pop? Happy freedom. Wayward, we had protests in Cincinnati over the weekend. Yeah, there was supposedly nationwide protests. I heard that there was even protests here. I didn't know about it until today. Otherwise, I would have went out there with a camera and we would have covered it live. It would have been like 6 people and probably all of their kids. Because there ain't shit to do around here. But if there's protests out there today and I happen to come across some protesters, I'll definitely go record them. Everybody's dropping boobs in the chat over on the website. And didn't miss those. You can't miss it. They're right there in your face. Stoner, my microwave broke. Living like Jeff Mack is hard. I haven't had a microwave in my life since like 2017 or something like that. It might be longer than that now that I think about it. Yeah, you get used to it, Stoner. You know, you just gotta heat up the stove. You know, it'd be okay. I got all these microwavable burrito stuff. Do it in the stove. It's so much better cooking it in the oven. Like, so much better. You just get you a nonstick pan, or even take tinfoil. Just throw the tinfoil down, throw the burritos on there. It's the way to go. Even Raymond's noodles. You know, I got to cook it in a pot. You can't just throw the styrofoam cup in the microwave. Nah, you'll get used to it. Microwaves are trash. Pumpkin, wonder if Walter went to the protest. He probably did accidentally and forgot why he was there. All right, hooligans, we're going to get on to this next one. Judge presses Trump administration to return Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick to go check out the only hooligan shop for cool custom hooligan items. Now, the shop and everything in it was created by Alistair, and this is our attempt to try and get away from third-party systems so we can have more control over quality, shipping times, and prices and all that kind of stuff. So definitely go check out the only hooligan shop. We will be continuing to add items in there. I need to figure out when we're going to have the chip clips because I'm sure they're on the way. But definitely go check out the only hooligan shop. Like I said, getting into this next video here is a follow-up video. It's really controversial, where they're trying to discuss whether this is just some father from Maryland or if he's actually a high-ranking individual of MS-13. It's really controversial. It really shouldn't be, but it is. Either way, hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get into this.
The legal battle over the Maryland man mistakenly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador is intensifying.
Kilmer, if you can hear me, I miss you so much.
A federal judge yesterday refused to delay a deadline for the Trump administration to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the U.S. The administration acknowledges Abrego Garcia, a green card holder, was mistakenly put on a plane to El Salvador with more than 200 alleged gang members because of an administrative error. But the Attorney General stands by deporting him.
ICE has testified, members of ICE, that he is an MS-13 gang member.
The judge says the government has given no proof that Abrego Garcia was a gang member, saying the only evidence given includes his wearing of a Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie and a singular unsubstantiated allegation. The Trump administration is asking an appeals court to intervene, arguing because Abrego Garcia is in El Salvador, they cannot demand his return. And they say the judge has no power to order the U.S. government to even negotiate his return. Abrego Garcia's attorneys calling those claims meritless. Meanwhile, over the weekend, more than 1,200 protests against the Trump administration were held across the country, dubbed the Hands Off protest.
We have seen signs that say, hands off our schools, hands off our bodies, hands off our social security.
Hands off my wiener.
That's a message about what they consider government overreach.
Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Okay. So, as you saw Pam Bondi saying, members of ICE are testifying that he is a MS-13 gang member. Now, I don't think they're just doing that just for the sake of doing it. I'm sure they have their reasons. They were the ones that arrested him. So, I don't know. This just seems to be controversial for no reason. This is just an extension of the left being upset that the mass deportations are happening, that you have to enter the country legally if you intend to stay here, and that's it. They're just trying to take something that's makes sense, really, and spin it into some outrageous story that's just simply not true. It'd be different if they didn't know. If they were like, well, we actually don't know. We thought he was MS-13. Maybe he's not, but that's not what they're saying. These ICE agents wouldn't be testifying against him if they weren't sure. I don't think there's any humans that want to see other humans being locked in cages unless you're sure that person's a monster and not really a human, right? So, I don't know. I assume that ICE is a pretty good judgment of who's MS-13 and who's not. There's a lot of categories you can put these bad guys in. MS-13 isn't just a default. So, I don't know. I think it's really just becoming some outrageous story when it doesn't need to be. Next up, lefties don't even know what they're protesting. This is a video I grabbed off of TikTok while I was randomly scrolling. This idiot's being interviewed why they're at this hands-off protest, and they can't even give a straight answer. After that, we got lefties losing it. They're going to show a couple clips that are very similar to that. So we got idiots being idiots coming up next. But first, we're going to read through the chat, see what your hooligans think about this controversial story where they claim this Maryland man is just a mistaken identity case. Some poor father sent to Supermax, but ICE believes he's MS-13. Snooks, I thought you like hands on your wiener. No, it's not like it's not like the front door where everybody just gets a turn. That's not how it works, Snooks. Jesus loves this. You guys are always calling me a slut. I don't know. Your juice are a Bulls jersey? Nope. Get the fuck out. Yeah. Exactly. That's what it was. That's what did him in. He was wearing a Bulls jersey. Matt Rogers, all paid, and most have zero clue why they're even there. Absolutely. Like I said, we got a couple videos coming up. It just really puts that on full display. Guess on my protest hands off by being hands on. That's right. Holy Snooks. I don't even know what to say back to that. Just insane. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that protest is taking place. Oh, you're talking about the person who's being deported? That's from Maryland. Metal Mouse, she was a member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. Well, I'm glad she had her constituents with her. While she was, I don't know. I shouldn't laugh, but she's like, if you can hear me, I miss you. He can't hear shit. Okay, he's in one of the most locked down prisons in existence. He's not watching TV. Like, nah, he can't hear you, lady. I'm sorry that you were banging a member of MS-13, but that's how it goes. Patriot Dad, hands off our money. Yeah, Democrats, they don't want to hear that. Cody, you show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are. Absolutely, people get in where they fit in. Stoner, if he wasn't MS-13, how come he got deported like one? Boom. Yeah, exactly. Metalmouth, activist district judges need to stop trying to tell President Trump how to run his country. Absolutely, and I'm pissed at Speaker Johnson. Thought he was going to do something. He went out there and gave a whole speech about how he could remove judges. Congress has the power to remove judges from their position. And then they just keep letting these judges do whatever they want. Doesn't make any sense. Told to care, he's got his tats. Yeah, and we covered a couple days ago the same story. It was our follow-up at the time, and they had all of his tats on his arm all blurred out. They were like, he's just some poor father from Maryland, as they blur his whole sleeve of tattoos out, and like, oh, okay. My feed, happy freedom to you. Get an air fryer, it's much better. Yeah, air fryers are badass. I got a huge one that somebody sent me during the People's Convoy, or maybe we were covering the Canadian Convoy. It was one or the other. It's fucking gigantic. You could put almost a whole birthday cake in the tray. Love it. Love that damn thing. Mike T, free vacation, food, place to stay, still complaining. Yeah. Metal Mouth, I knew some guys in prison who were actually MS-13 members. MS-13 is not very nice people. Yeah. Well, they're a bunch of devil worshippers and stuff like that. Guess no boobs, no peace. That's right. That's right. That's a real protest. Justin saying Chief Justice John Roberts blocks the activist judge forced return of alleged MS-13 member Kilmar Garcia tonight by the Trump administration Politico. Thank you for letting me know, Justin saying. Meta, poster child for Dems. Yeah, they're trying to grab their next George Floyd. I don't think it's going to be this individual from Maryland, but I think it's going to be Mahmoud Khalil. Because that's what got everybody all pissed off in the first place, is Mahmoud Khalil being picked up. He's an activist. He's a pro-Hamas activist. His green card has already been revoked. He's currently being held in Louisiana. They're trying to hold his trial in New Jersey. And once he gets deported, because I don't know how the hell he's not going to get deported, but as soon as he does, I bet that's when we're going to have fire in the streets. They're trying to make Mahmoud Khalil the next George Floyd. And there's a lot of symptoms why. Like, I'm not just pulling that out of my ass. As we go through every day and cover this stuff, they're showing more and more symptoms that this is their next martyr, is Mahmoud Khalil. What's up, Tori Wayne? Happy freedom to you. Guess who? Jose Floyd? I mean, I guess. Holy. Mike Eagle, no mention of his tats. Yeah, they don't tell us. It's a lion face or something. From what I could see from these pictures, it looks like the snout of a lion. I'm not sure what else is in it. I'm not sure what an MS-13 tat exactly looks like. But they are very concerned about showing his tats, talking his tats, describing them, where they came from, what they represent. They don't talk anything about it. They just want to say, he's just a poor old dad from Maryland. And he was wearing a Bulls jersey, and the White House is against the Bulls. Oh, okay. What's up, Manna? Happy freedom. Scott Voigt, hands off our tax money. That's right. Metalmouth, I hope you don't pull anything out of your ass. That'd be disgusting. No, I just pull it out of Klaus Daniels. I told you guys I pulled a stick out of him, a couple months ago. The other day I had to pull a string out of him. I thought Tim Walz got him at first, but nah, I don't know what he did. He ate something and came out the other end. Thank God, I guess. He's like, Dad, why are you tugging on me like that? I'm like, just stop. Stop. He's all grunting and moaning. I'm like, just stop it. Fucking Klaus Daniels. What's up, 5D? Happy freedom to you. Told the kid I'm missing the Klaus. I know I gotta get everything set up so he can sit here with me instead of over there by the slider. Stoner, if we said he was a J6er, they'd gladly deport him. You are absolutely right. Yeah, Stoner Klaus on a rope. That's exactly what I said. Like, this is motherfucking Klaus on a rope. Yep. Stoner, don't drop the Klaus. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. All right, let's get on to this next one. Lefties don't even know what they're protesting. We might play these back to back. No way. They took the video down? No, they didn't. No, they didn't, these dusty bitches. I think they deleted the video while I was sitting here live. What the hell is this? Got your toes all in my face. This ain't what I'm looking for. You never know what you're going to see over on TikTok. I think they removed the video. Is it this? No. Damn. I think they actually removed the video. That is crazy. It's not the first time this has happened. Let me see. Yeah, they banned the video. Fucking idiots. They didn't want me showing how stupid the lefties are. I guess. That's okay. We'll just go on to the next one. Like I said, it's lefties losing their marbles regardless. I'm sure this video is still good to go. Yes. Alright, well, we're going to move forward to lefties losing it because apparently TikTok took down that video. It was individuals being interviewed asking them, why are you at the protest? And they were like, well, democracy. And they're like, yeah, what about it? And they're like, stuff and things. If you don't know, it's because you don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Like, they have no idea why the fuck they're there. Anyways, we got more of that anyway. This is titled Loony Lefty Complains About Their Bathroom Woes. Hit the like button over on Rumble as well as the CommiTube, and let's get into this.
Now it is time for lefties losing it, starting with the diabolical lunatics who attended so-called hands-off protests against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And boy, did this guy deliver the theatre performance he's been waiting his whole life for.
Idiot, moronic.
The Mango Menace?
Break our NATO alliance, turn our allies against us, steal our money, throw 71 million people off Medicaid that people depend on. 71 million people. Is this what you want? Do you want money taken from your grandma? Do you want to not support battered women and abused children? Is that what you believe? Stand up and say it, fascists. Stand up and say it. I'm standing up and saying what I believe. You stand up and say what you believe, and not platitudes, and not idolatry. Let's hear ideas. You have no ideas. All you have is hate, racism, stupidity, and greed.
Yeah, he's been waiting years, hasn't he, to get that one off his chest, waiting for that moment that a microphone finally found him, and he got his moment there. Very
He's like the left Steve Bannon.
Who gets more and more triggered and unhinged as he goes along.
The streets between the park and City Hall are entirely filled with people who are here because they're very angry about what's going on, about Trump and fascism trying to take this wonderful country with all these wonderful people, and there are great chants going on. Immigrants welcome here, trans people are welcome here, trans kids are welcome here. This is Massachusetts, kid. Get your hands off of it.
All very normal. And how about this protester who probably should have thought twice about her public service announcement?
My name is Grace Martinez Rosas. I am an immigrant. I am undocumented, unafraid, queer, and unashamed.
Yes, woohoo, to being an undocumented immigrant. But whoopsie, it's really not going to end well for her, is it? Tom, Homan, anyone around? And you know, I have to give it to the left because really they are just so tolerant.
How do you feel about Donald Trump?
I think that he deserves to die.
He should what?
Die.
Okay.
Yes, just very loving, very inclusive, loving of everybody. And also at the same time, though, I've got to say, they're equally as stupid.
So what makes Trump a fascist? What makes Trump a fascist?
He does things without
You gotta talk loud. I don't have my mic on.
I'm not really good into interviews.
Sorry?
He just does everything he wants and not following laws or he's a convicted felon. That's all I know.
What's that?
So paper gave me, yeah.
Who gave you that?
The people that gave me the sign. It's a free sign.
Oh, someone gave you the sign, and then they gave you the handout. So are you reading it now to try to answer the question?
Yeah.
Yes, you know your cause is desperate, don't you, when you have to hand out signs and talking points because these lefty lunatics clearly have absolutely no idea whatsoever why they're there or who they are or who they're supposed to actually be talking about.
Can you explain a little bit for our viewers what this means?
Go ahead.
Where's your handout?
Cactocracy. Government by the least suitable or competent citizens of a state. Seems to fit, doesn't it?
Oh, God, it never gets old. Why are you here? Well, let me just check my script. It never gets old. And now to liberalism, but make it musical.
Don't give up. Not yet. Be hopeful. Be happy. There's still tomorrow. Don't give up. Never give up. No, no, no. I won't give up. No, no, no. Let me love you. Let me love you. I won't give up. No, no, no. Never give up. No, no, no. Let me love you. I love you.
Wow. American Idol. Eat your heart out. And now to this lefty who has today decided to voluntarily tell us all about going to the toilet.
I can't pee in 4% of America right now. So
you can't pee in 4% of America.
In 4% of America, it is illegal for me to use the men's restroom in government buildings.
So because of the biology bill that they just passed?
Yes, because I am biologically female, I cannot use the men's restroom in Florida or Utah.
Thank you so much for giving up that information to the world so freely there. And now to the most difficult question apparently in this day and age. What is a woman?
Do you think that women have the right to single-sex spaces?
Yes, but that needs to include transgender women.
But transgender women are male, aren't they?
No, transgender women are women.
So if transgender women are women, why are they trans?
Transgender women are women.
If they're women, why are they trans? What makes transgender women?
The fact they are transgender.
And what does trans mean when it comes before the word woman? So what's your definition of woman then?
Anyone who identifies as a woman.
So that's a circular definition, so it's not telling anyone what a woman is.
Anyone who identifies as a woman is a woman.
So on one hand, you think that trans women should be allowed into women's only spaces because they're women, but you also can't define what a woman is.
Not by your definition, because I'm not a medical doctor.
It's just such a difficult concept, isn't it? It really never gets old. Look, let's try it again.
What is a woman?
What is a person?
What is a woman?
A person is somebody who walks the earth that does well for others.
But we're at the Women's March. What is a woman?
A person is somebody that walks
Not a
the
person.
earth and does well for others.
Yeah, they're just so triggered, really, really triggered at the prospect of a woman. Now to Kamala Harris, who has emerged after months in hiding, and she's returned with another word salad.
And these are the things that we are witnessing.
each day in these last few months in our country. And it understandably creates a great sense of fear. Because, there were many things that we knew would happen.
Prostitute.
Many things. I'm not here, so I told you so.
Yes, just a reminder, the majority of Americans, Kamala, didn't vote for you. And finally, can someone please give this woman in the background a medal? Because really, she is all of us right now in a world of woke.
Message to Donald Trump. You Democrats and workers are going to fight back and defend our jobs and our country. We're ready to fight back.
All right, well, that was lefties losing their marbles there. What's really interesting is they actually showed a clip of the video I was trying to show you originally. Let me see if I can find it really quick. It was really brief. This guy. We were going to watch the whole interview, but the video was removed from TikTok. But that piece of shit who said he, wants bad things to happen to the president and all of that, he kind of put it out in great detail there. It wasn't too much for community guidelines, at least not for what we do, but apparently it was too much for TikTok and they removed the video. Either way, next up we got the fun stuff coming up. We're going to be opening today's door from the Advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. And then we got two funny videos of the day. First one's titled Trump Getting Us Back on Track, and our official funny video of the day is titled Where Trump Lives Rent-Free. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about these lefties losing their marbles. Russell, I always have a problem with bathrooms after I eat Taco Bell. It happens, Russell. It happens. Matt Rogers, I will never understand why so many women support this shit. I don't know either. Matt Rogers. I've said it before, and it makes people mad, and I'm not really in a position to make more people leave, but women seem to be more susceptible to propaganda, and I think that it's all done strategically. When men enter a room, they look for potential threats. Whenever we do anything, us men that think, we're usually scanning for potential threats or problems and trying to solve the problem before the problem even happens. Women don't really work like that. They don't really worry about solving problems. They don't worry about threats. So when you have nonstop propaganda all the way around you on your social media, on the radio, on TV, and it's constantly telling you how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to think, being married or having children is a form of oppression and things like that, and they're nonstop getting hit with propaganda, it makes them more susceptible to falling for the propaganda. Look at all the women who buy Stanley cups. You don't need a $40 15-pound cup. You don't need that damn thing. It's not cool. It doesn't look cute. And then you look like a fucking trucker carrying that bitch around. But the propaganda says you have to have it. You absolutely can't live without it. And that's why you see so many wearing the same things, black leggings, Ugg boots. I mean, it's all the same thing. They're susceptible to the propaganda. When we're all young, we have this craving to belong, right? We don't feel right in our own skin. So we want to belong to something bigger than us. That's why people join gangs. That's why people join BLM and all that kind of stuff. And women also have this I can fix you kind of thing, right? You see women dating broken dudes and they're getting beaten and they're doing drugs and all this other shit and they won't leave this guy. It's because they think they can fix him. It's their motherly instincts to take care of others. It's natural. Well, they see these broken lefties and they're like, I can fix them. I can take care of them. I can make them happy. I can make them better. And you can't fix these miserable people because they enjoy being miserable. That's why they're lefties. That's why they're the way they are. And I think that's a big part of why we see so many women out here hanging out with the lefties, hanging out with liberals, hanging out at these protests, making excuses for the way they behave and stuff like that. Now, it's not all women, but I think that's why we see such a high percentage of women in these situations. That's just my belief, and everybody can be mad if they want to, but we've been doing this a long time, and I'm pretty sure I'm not far off the mark there. Russell, if you believe in something, you shouldn't need bullet points. That's right. And all these guys needed a cheat sheet to figure out why they were out there protesting against President Trump and Elon Musk. Just deport their asses. 100% tariffs on idiots. Yep. Hair juicer tart alert. Yeah, it happens. Metamouth, I'm proud to be a misfit. I don't fit in with anyone. Don't give a shit about fitting in either. It's just hooliganism. That's why we're all hooligans. That's how it all began. As my grandma used to say that, she used to call me and my sister a bunch of hooligans. Because we just did things our own way. We weren't perfect. A little rough around the edges, but we had good intentions. My grandma used to be like, you guys are a bunch of hooligans. And that's how all of you guys are in the chat. And that's why I started calling you guys hooligans. And then you start calling yourselves hooligans. And then I realized we were all just a bunch of hooligans. And that's how it went. That's how it is. Picture Dad, it's hard to meet a solid conservative woman in Illinois. Some people suggest finding women like that in church. Because you have to be disciplined to follow the word of God and things like that. Now, you might find self-righteous people. You may find religious people, and we talk about that all the time, the difference between having a relationship with God and being religious, right? Being religious is a lot like playing Clubhouse, creating standards to push your own agenda and stuff like that. But I've heard that a lot. A lot of people say, go to church or go to places like that. You're never going to find a good woman at a bar. You know, I don't know. This is just advice that I've been given. Now, I don't exactly take all the advice I got, but I believe it's good advice, right? You're gonna catch the kind of fish that live in the area you go fishing, and so that makes sense. You know, I dated a lot of broads from the bar, and they all turned out to be crazy alcoholics. Makes sense. They're all hanging out at the bar, so you know that's the advice I was given, and I tell others the same. I'm too busy for women and stuff like that. Got Cat Daniels. It's good enough. It's good enough. Picture Dad, I'm not churchy. You can find fellowship without being churchy. Going to a church that accepts you as a non-churchy person is the kind of place you're looking for. I'm not churchy either. Not at all. And I was a chaplain for 2 years. But that's how they got me in. Was because I didn't want to play Clubhouse. I didn't want to be around people where I had to dress up and pretend and be all fake and shit to be accepted into their bullshit. I didn't want any of that. Well, they didn't want me to do any of that. I want to show up with a band t-shirt, you know, it says my favorite rapper across the top. I got hand tattoos and shit, and I can still walk in there and just be cool as everybody else. That's how I fell into it. Now, in the end, there was some differences, and that's why I ended up leaving the chaplaincy, but you don't want to be anywhere where you have to be fake. But you gotta look at the kind of bait you're using and the fishing hole you're fishing in to find that right fish. You know, they say there's a lot of fish in the sea, but you don't want all of them. You just want the right one. J Spray, unfortunately, you can't go to the churches with the rainbow flags, though. Yeah, don't go to pagan churches. You don't want that. Russell, well, doing body shots at the bar is cool. It is. I guess it depends on what kind of woman you're looking for. J Spray, actually met my wife at a bar. We were both done with it, though. Yeah. Hair juicer, take a class at a Christian college. Get indoctrinated. Nah, I don't know. We'll see. Stoner, I want to go fish in Japan. Just saying. Well, that's why we got the internet. You're going to have to find a baddie online and have them fly over. What's up, Jack? Happy freedom to you. Stoner, Stanley Cups are dope because of hockey. Yeah, in that sense they are. Plus, they could be used as a weapon, kind of like a mag light. You just smack somebody with your 15-pound lead cup. I mean, it has its purposes, I suppose. MU, thankful it is not president. Yeah, me too. People think things are bad now. We'd be underwater if we had Hyena Harris. Kevin, hissing like a snake demon. Yeah, those Those idiots on the left there, they have no self-control. And they don't make any sense. Meta, I don't know what you're saying, Meta. Your responses are all broken up. I don't know what you're trying to say. Something about the advent calendar. What's up, Stern? Happy freedom to you. Stern, I met both my ex-husbands at a bar, damn it, and at one of them I was working. Yeah, I don't know. Don't take what I'm saying, too serious. I'm sure you can find someone great at a bar, but I had a lot of problems as I was becoming an adult and all of that, trying to figure out exactly what I was looking for, and I ended up in a lot of bad situations. And I would talk to my grandpa, who's the smartest person I knew. He's dead now, and I'm like, Grandpa, I got this problem and this problem and this problem. We're always fighting and arguing, and she's unpredictable. I never know where she is, and she's blowing $80 a night at the bar. And he's like, well, yeah, you found her at the bar. Like, you think she wasn't going to be drinking and shit? And like, he just kept telling me, you gotta be preemptive about this. You want to find somebody that's good, go somewhere where good things are happening and find people that way. You don't go to a shithole and expect to find, some angel, because angels ain't really hanging out there. Now, does that mean it's impossible to find someone good at the bar? No. That's, anything can happen. But if you're looking for probabilities, go to a good place. Look for good people. Like we were saying earlier, people get in where they fit in. You see people hanging out with pedophiles, probably not a good person, right? And it's like that all the way around. You see people hanging out in crack houses, bitch might be smoking crack. And that's just all there is to it. So I don't know. I've been giving good advice. I'm just trying my best to pay it forward. Yeah, Stern. It happens. And these are also lessons that we have to learn in life. You wouldn't know how good a good day could be if you never had a bad day. And I say that a lot about relationships too, because I've met a lot of people who've had really bad relationships. You wouldn't know how to handle a good relationship if you didn't spend a lot of time being in a bad relationship. And the more I think about that, the more it shows me what I want out of life. You can't stand the bad shit happening in life. Identify what those bad things are and stop trying to find those traits in new people, because you'll continue to be miserable. You hang out with miserable people. And so, that's the reality of it. What goes up must come down. And you're tired of dealing with bad people, you'll know what good people look like. Scott Voigt, nothing wrong with one night stands till they get pregnant. It's a manic miner. Happy freedom to you. Manic miner, Gaza morons have invaded Grand Central New York. Lots of police gathering might kick off. Thank you for letting me know, Manic. What's up, Toy Mafia? Happy freedom. What's up, Sam? Happy freedom to you. Misery loves company. You are not wrong. Hey, thanks for being here, Jay Spray. We met at a bar, now we go to church every Sunday. It's badass, Jay Spray. Glad you guys found each other. Master Voltaire, bad trees never produce good fruit. Absolutely. All right, hooligans, we're going to get into the fun stuff. Like I said, we're going to open today's door from the advent calendar that was sent to us by Wad. Then we got our 2 funny videos of the day. But before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick, if you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use that Linktree link in the description in order to send donations. You can do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Let's get into this really quick. Like I said, we're going to be opening today's door from the advent calendar sent to us by Wad. Let's see what we get today. Today is day 20. Ooh. Only a couple more of these left, and we're not going to have an advent calendar anymore. I was thinking about putting some on the wish list. I got to make some time to do it. Today we got Mars. Elon's going to come take my whiskey. Mars. Maltage Cosmo blended malt whiskey. Very nice. I like the tan color on this. Thank you so much, Wad. I appreciate you. All right. Like I said, only a couple more doors left on the advent calendar. I'm going to have to add to the wish list tonight. Let's go ahead and get into these funny videos. First one's titled Trump Getting Us Back on Track. This one's going to look familiar. We just covered something very similar to this the other day, but it's so good we can do it twice. Once again, this is titled President Trump Getting Us Back on Track.
Larry, what the hell are you doing? Larry, you can't just... Oh,
Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did you...
Larry!
I love that video. All right, let's get into our official funny video of the day. Let's get this pulled up real quick like. All right. This is titled Where Trump Lives Rent-Free. Yes. That TDS hurts them bad. Right in their no-no. All right, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. I'm going to grab this Linktree link really quick and drop it in all the chats. We're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Alright, hooligans, there's the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, would really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there, keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You will also have access to Hooligans Alley, which is our private social media area. You'll have access to the forums, you'll have access to the arcade, and you will also have access to our advanced messaging system, where we all gather on Fridays for our voice chat, as well as have conversation throughout the day. jeffmaclive.com is the home of the hooligans. You should definitely go get yourself a membership. Like I said, we're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. The hell is this? I don't know what that is, guess holy. Free the Texan. Oh, everything evolves. Everything evolves. Every couple months things change. Hey, thank you for being here, Patriot Dad. Free the Texan. I've seen this video used for so many memes. I know. I love that video, though. For the Texan, I have tried a couple of these. I drank all of this. Let's see. This is 12-year-old single malt scotch by Glen DeRock. This is completely gone. I've drank a little bit of this boutique whiskey company, World Whiskey blended whiskey. Just a little sip out of there during one of the lives. I got them all pulled aside so I could tell which ones are opened and which ones aren't. Cairo Distilled Company malt rye whiskey. This is about half gone here. I got a few of them. I normally be testing them out during the voice chat. I'm sitting here sampling them while we're having our discussions. Hey, thank you for being here. Too old to care. Cody, drink that shit. Nah, I gotta drive. I gotta go get food and stuff. Thank you for being here, Hair Juicer. Guess stand tall. I got a split. If you see a liberal, slap that twit. That's right, guess appreciate you being here. Sam, whiskey on ice. I've been sipping those after I crack them open and let them sit for a little bit. But yeah, I want to actually pour myself a shot with some ice in it because you guys keep suggesting it. I think it's the way to go. Thank you, Pumpkin. You're the bestest. Free the Good Texan, you should do a downing stream where you down all the ones you got left. I got like 18 of them over here. I'd be messed up. I wouldn't even be able to end the live. I wouldn't be able to talk. Thank you for being here, Sage Pup. What's up, TPP? Happy freedom to you. TPP, that's the song that always gets stuck in your head. In your head. Yeah, it is stuck in my head. It's actually been stuck in my head since earlier when I came across it and decided to put it on the schedule here. Now you guys have joined the rest of the class. Now we all have that song stuck in our head. Thank you, Rappy. I appreciate you being here. Freeze the Texts in ice or just put them in the freezer. Oh, that's a good idea too. I should store them in the freezer. All right, hooligans, it's that time. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we did the thing. Let's get these beats rolling. We're going to read through one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind. But we are wrapping this up. We'll be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. TPP, those little whiskey bottles look bootleg, real stuff. Nah, it is real. They're legit. They're kind of like little promotional things. I wish the camera would actually focus on it. It's actually got a lot of information on the front, but these are like a promotion thing. So if you find one you like, one of these drams, then you go buy the big bottle. And they're actually like pretty good. One of them I looked up and it's like $50 for a fifth or something like that. So it's pretty high quality stuff. Or at least I think so. Hey, thank you for being here, Magic Moon. Oh, I see, Sam. Yeah, I'm going to give it a try. Probably Friday for the voice chat. I'm probably going to put some on ice. Told to Carry Blazing Saddles, awesomely funny. It's on my to-watch list. Thank you for being here, Cody. Thank you, Too Old to Care. Thank you, Sage Pup. Thank you, Meta. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Stern. All right, hooligans. I think we are good to go. Like I said, we are wrapping this up, but we will be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank God we didn't have any technical problems today. I know there's still time, and I shouldn't say that, but I'm grateful that we finally had a day without any internet issues or anything like that. So thank you guys so much for being here. Please go find some good food. That's what I'm going to be doing. Enjoy your weather if you got nice weather. If you don't have nice weather, please stay safe, because we don't want the weather to get you. And if you leave the house, also stay safe, because those damn lefties are out there and they're mad at a whole bunch of nothing. Either way, find your way back to us tomorrow, like I said, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.